Establishing battlefield control. Stand by.
Greetings, everybody. Can everyone hear me all right? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Are you picking this up? Deactivate your defense matrix. All right. Awesome, awesome. How's the volume? I accidentally changed a few things with the volume. So I just want to make sure my voice compared to desktop is good. I thought I set it back to the way it was, but I can't be certain. Okay. Everybody seems to be good. All right, then let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Excited to hopefully finish the campaign this time and also give you a little bit of an update on the documentary, which is going fabulously. All right, here I am. All right, should I set up shop here where there's a bunch of blue Tiberium, or should I set up shop over here? I usually set up to the east, but I've seen people do it over here, so I'm kind of curious which one you guys prefer.
Sir, loud and clear. You got it. Loud and clear.
It's kind of weird that he's the commander.
Unit ready.
No worries, Vidit. You got a little bit of time.
Awaiting orders.
What if I just
Yes, sir.
did? What if I just... What if I just... You know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's do something different this time. Well, do I have to? Can I just put my forces over there and I'll get them back? Or do I have to actually put my MCV over there to get them back? Because I kind of want to try something different if I'm at all able to do so. This guy. Yeah, Septagus, I really can't play in any other resolution than the one I grew up playing.
Yes, sir, and out.
It's a quirk of mine. Okay, gotcha. Well, in that case, let's get our guys over there just so we can at least secure the buildings once they become back under our control. And then we'll get ready to go.
Orders received. On my way. Moving out. Moving out.
Welcome to Trondheim, boys. Where are you guys going?
Awaiting orders.
Is it destroyed? Oh, that's right. The bridge is destroyed.
You got it.
Okay, maybe-
Awaiting orders. Got it. Moving out. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Man, imagine being an engineer in these times. The
Infantry
world
reporting.
around you is falling apart, but hey,
Repair.
you still have to get your degree,
Infantry
and
reporting.
the world still needs you.
You got it. You got it. Moving out.
Honestly, I feel like this is when GDI and Nod are at the peak of their philosophies.
Got it.
Nod is the most all-in for, no, we're just going to live in a world of Tiberium, because by the time you get to CNC 3, I get the genuine impression that Kane has kind of figured that's not a,
You got it.
yep, like that's not a cell anymore. Come on, guys, let's go. Infantry. That's right.
You got it.
Here we go.
I'm on it.
Hit 'em hard. I'll get back to my point. Just give me a sec.
I'm on it.
No! Guys, you could all just contribute.
Infantry reporting.
Alright, that's good. Time to deploy. But yeah, by the time we get to CNC 3, I get the impression that, you know, the very thesis... Ugh!
Construction. Base under attack.
Oh, look at you.
Infantry reporting.
You have been marked for termination.
Thank you, Cabal. Good to know I'm on your priority list. Wow, that's a...
Yes, sir.
Can you guys please just... Please, guys. You lose all semblance of your orders. There you go.
Terminator protocols initiated. Proceeding with final sweep.
Building.
I love that Cabal actually talks to you through all of this.
Construction complete.
Alright, let's build some harvesters over here. Whoa!
Storm approaching.
That was just natural, right? That wasn't Cabal. 'Cause
Waiting order. Got it.
that would have some crazy implications if Cabal could do that. That's right, Shock Combo. Down with Cabal. And all his acolytes.
Awaiting orders.
You know, given the way some people are today with AI, I get the genuine
Yes, sir.
impression that Cabal wouldn't even have to convert
Infantry
everyone. I could see some people who are allowed to keep their faculties who are just sort of like cults devoted to Cabal because they genuinely believe he would do a better job of leading humanity. Sort of like if you've ever seen the Castlevania Netflix series, it's kind of similar to that, where like there's a human in there. I think his name is either Samuel or Simon, but like he's not a vampire, but he's all in for the vampires, like Dracula's plan
Awaiting
to
orders. Loud and clear.
genocide the entire human race.
Engineering. Awaiting orders.
Let's not fix that just yet. Michael Grodel says, I feel like Keen's focus on divination to Tiberian's son was mostly a way to just one-up God, showing him that he could create a better organism. That's my opinion. Yeah, no, I definitely get the impression that it feels like he's trying to prove that he's a more fit leader of humanity. And if we go by the biblical Cain idea, I like the idea of him basically saying, like, I'm the brother who deserved to live. Just an entire grudge match over millennia of him trying to prove that he was justified in what he did instead of actually, like, taking any sort of accountability. Luke Danger says, I'm one of the good ones, the fools think, and then are shocked when the leopards eating faces party they supported eat their face. Yeah, that happens a lot in history, and I do have some sympathy for that, because a lot of times people do that because they're forced into desperate situations where there's not a lot of good options, and you can often feel like, I'm going to support this side or this person because they're the only person even addressing my issue, let alone who cares what their solution is, even if the solution is horrifying, because at least it's someone who admits the problem exists. I'm trying to think of a historical example.
Insufficient funds.
The Mafia. Let's go with the Mafia, since I love Mafia movies and things like that. It's a really good idea.
Unit boss.
You know, a lot of Italian immigrants did face genuine... Where? Oh, there you guys are. A lot of Italian immigrants did face genuine, you know, bigotry and were disadvantaged in society due to their status as immigrants, and specifically Italian immigrants, because a lot of people at that time didn't like Italians, and specifically didn't like Catholics. It was the same reason that the Irish had problems earlier in America's history. And, oh shoot, there's a lot of you guys.
Training. Building.
I don't know if I handled this properly.
Construction complete. Training. Unit ready.
And let's make a component tower while we're at it.
Unit ready.
Infantry reported as good as
Unit ready.
Yes, we have RPGs.
Ready. Unit
One sec.
lost. Unit lost.
Yeah, you make a good point, Vivid of Light. Cabal doesn't seem like the kind of person that would allow people to not be converted. It's a very similar mindset that Yuri had in Red Alert 2, Yuri's Revenge. He probably wouldn't allow a society that didn't have his full control. He's a very all-or-nothing kind of guy. Alright. Let's build a war factory.
Building.
But anyway, the whole idea being that a lot of Italian people at the time kind of said, all right, well, I'm all in with the Mafia because, you know, the law-abiding citizens won't even admit that there's a problem and that, shoot!
Destroy boss base and forces.
Yes, sir. Good as done.
You know, on second thought, maybe infantry isn't the best idea to send against you guys.
Building. Unit lost. Unit lost.
You know what's interesting is that I'm gonna load back just a touch.
Building.
What's interesting is that this is sort of a situation where,
Destroy Eagle's base and
you know, I had infantry, which are the very thing these things are good at, and I still managed to knock out 2 of these things. I'm just saying, these things kind of suck. You guys hear that? He said, you make this easy, flesh bag. Alright then. All talking smack. There's something I just love about an AI just being absolutely contemptuous of you. It's really cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's better.
base under attack.
Yes, sir. You got it. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Whoa, somebody got artillery? We got artillery, folks.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Sir, clear now. On my way.
Building.
At least the artillery's been nerfed in this game. Okay. There we go. That's better.
Unit ready.
Moving out.
Alright, we're gonna have to get some pavement when we get the chance. Alright. Sorry, keep going back there.
Construction complete.
Little Lore Jumper says, what do you think about GDI phasing out the Mammoth tank? Yes, I know it's in the form of walkers during this era. Yeah, no, it's... I get why it was done. I don't have to like it. Alright, let's get some tech in here so we can actually... radar? Where's my radar?
Unit lost. Building. Unit lost.
Haha.
Unit lost.
Roomwish says, do you think that Tibdon follows the RA1 Soviet timeline? I do not. If you watch my History of the Brotherhood of Nod Part 2 video, I make a case that I do not think the Soviet timeline
Construction
could
complete.
possibly result in the Tiberian Dawn timeline. Or at least I think it's very improbable and is less likely than the Allied timeline. I have played the From the Ashes campaign by Zaptagus, who I believe is in the chat, which is a pretty great mod. It's a mod of like Red Alert 1, and it basically shows basically it shows the best way possible that
Building.
the Soviet timeline could have resulted in the Tiberian Dawn timeline and the creation of the Brotherhood of Nod. And it's pretty fun. But I personally do not think that that is the way that it could possibly go, because I just don't see a scenario where Nod pretty much rules the entire world, has the entirety of Europe under its thumb through the Soviet Union, and doesn't just continue to puppet the Soviet Union. Like, why would you? You've won. Why would you go back to being a underdog, you know, decentralized terrorist organization? You've already won. Like, everything that Kane wanted in Tiberian Dawn, he already has by the end of the Tiberian, by the end of the Red Alert
New
1
construction options.
Soviet campaign. There's just no point to me. So I think it has to be the Allied campaign.
Building.
I think that's what he wanted to do. I think that is genuinely what Kane wanted. He wanted the Soviet Union to rule all of Europe and Asia, and then rule through it. Good grief, it's coming back. I need to put some pavement up there,
Complete.
or some component towers.
Building.
But that's my point of view. Obviously, I know there's a lot of contention about it, and a lot of people who disagree with me. But that is my take, and it's one of the hills I will die on. Minecraft Phantoms being stupid, and the First Tiberium War taking place in the 90s. lend a hand? Okay. Did I build the tech center? Yes, I did. Alright, let's build another one of these. Hello. Good news for you. You are also made of tissue paper. Revolter Ocelot says, technically the Disruptor is the replacement for the Mimic Mark 1. You are correct, which is how I classified it as the GDI Super Heavy Tank in the poll. Org Gluesman says, I'm currently now working on the Israeli radio audio. It will be finished in a couple of days. Thanks, I appreciate that. Your first one was really good. Luke Danger says, especially since King could easily implement reforms to the Soviet to fix any structural flaws that would make its fall inevitable, or set it up to be specifically replaced with Nod by fanning the correct flames. Or to take somewhere out of Alright, let's get these guys out.
Building. Construction complete.
Alright, let's get you guys a war factory. Surely you don't mind me setting up in Trondheim. Let's get another one of these up here. Where's all that firing coming from? Who's going to attack? Oh, you guys are. Let's move up here. Oh, hello. Oh, hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to need... Yeah.
Construction
Waiting
complete.
orders. You got it. You got it.
Unit ready.
I think there's money in those crates, actually. I should really go back for those.
Primary building set.
And I'm going to need another refinery.
Building.
Let me save.
Unit ready.
You guys got some good things in the chat. I'll be there in a sec.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Yeah, or still fanning the correct flames. Also might want some medics since you're fighting through tip scraps.
Sir.
Not wrong.
Unit ready.
Boom.
Sir.
Titans are superior. Vid of Light says, a good point on the USSR not ruling it, but what if Nadia mentioned that Nod's playing Call for Normandy? Yeah, but I think that would take a different form. In the 90s, I think their idea of, oh, we will tire of them is just like, hey, we're now the guys. Like, they would still keep the Soviet Union's apparatus and their control of everything. They wouldn't give up any territory or power. It would just be like, openly, we're the Brotherhood of Nod. We're not the Soviet Union. As opposed to, hey, we're going to dismantle all of our power base just to become a decentralized terror organization. Like, to me, that makes zero sense. Okay. You should also check out Flame Dancers. It's much older, set after an Allied victory leading up to Tiberian Dawn. I will check that out. Thank you, Revolter Ocelots. Get another one of these up here. The famous wood armor of the attack cycle. You're right, Jez. Let me see. Runewish, what if I told you that there is a little tiny detail that everyone has missed, which proves that Westwood, even before RA2 and Tiberian Sun had attended the Soviet Union, goes to Tiberian Dawn, and the Allied ending to RA2. If you had something like that, let me know. Gosh dang it, guys. Well, thank you for ignoring. Sure, if you want to share. Michael Gordel says, do you consider the Soviet expansion missions to be canonical to the Allied or Soviet campaigns, or just not canonical? Are you talking about the Aftermath missions and the Counter-Strike stuff? I'm not really sure where to place those. If I ever take a closer look at RA1, I might have to make a decision on that, but for now, I just never really thought about it. Luke Danger, I pity the poor city planners whose roads now have building-shaped obstructions. Firing is also possible. Cabal attacks the local settlements. They should just be happy they have me there with RPG towers to defend them. Remember the Titans? Yeah. Roomwish, I'm making a video about that right now, so yeah, it's really awesome how much attention they put into the lore of the 1990s. I look forward to hearing it. I'm not sure if I'm subscribed to your channel. Do you have anything else on your channel right now? I wonder if I've seen something from you already. Okay, let's get some more power over here, and let's save. Another soul save. Little classic GTA reference for those in the chat.
Construction complete.
Bit of Light says, resulted in the massive not superstate that would allow for no contesting of Europe. Yep. Speedy Shade J says, well, of course, Luke Danger, although the last season of Attack on Titan got real dark. I liked them when they were younger. Yeah. I still haven't seen Attack on Titan, so please, no spoilers in the chat. My fiance loves that show, and she's trying to get me into it, so I need to go back and finish it.
Building.
I started it, like, years ago.
Complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
Who is attacking me? Oh, these guys are getting attacked. Well, not a lot can be done about that. Terribly sorry.
Loud and clear. Sir.
Let's get you guys out of the Tiberium. That would be lovely. Alright, we're starting to get some real money now. So let's get some silos, and then let's just keep pumping out Titans, because this is going to be a Titan spam mission. Just plain and simple. I don't think we even have access to Juggernauts. I could be wrong. Do we have access to... No, we do have access to Juggernauts. Okay, we'll get some Juggernauts, and also some Disruptors. We'll diversify. But I think on the whole, we are good. And let's build some sensor arrays as well.
Harvester under attack.
The harvester, where? Oh, hello. We got another side to this. Alright, let's take
Yes, sir. Unit reporting. Sir.
you guys over here.
Ready.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Thank you. Ah! Crikey. Stop. Sorry, my computer. Ah, no! The chat function. Just stop.
Base
Thank
under
you.
attack.
Yeah. Okay.
Unit ready.
Little Lore Jumper says, how do you think the Forgotten would have reacted to the events of Tib War 3? And yes, the one that ship are not leading to. That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I think the idea of the Forgotten, like, I'm gonna have to stick with the lore. If I ever go and make a documentary on, like, the third Tiberian War, if I eventually get there, I'm gonna have to stick with the lore that's presented and basically create some explanation for why after the death of Trados. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of them.
Unit ready, sir.
Why so many tick tanks?
Received.
Unit ready.
Why so many? Let's keep building some more of you guys. We'll get some disruptors in there too at some point.
Awaiting orders. No problem.
Yeah, I'll basically have to explain that, yeah, I think after the death of Trados, they were just demoralized and really didn't trust GDI anymore. And that's even touched upon in the mission where you have to quell the rebellions. The voice lines from the mutants are basically saying, like, GDI, we can't trust them, they couldn't even protect Trados, that was their responsibility. So I think, and obviously they don't trust Nod, so I think they just completely lose faith in regular humanity and go off into, you know, the wastelands of the red zones to survive. And then by that point, their culture, I think, is so devastated by how bad Tiberium gets that they're really only like disparate mercenary communities that fight to basically pay for food and lodging and medical attention for their settlements back in the red zones. But I really wish there was more, because I would have loved to have seen what the Forgotten reaction was to the Skrin,
Sir.
if they had any sort of edge against them, what the Skrin thought of the Forgotten. Like,
Yes, sir.
I think there even is some Westwood stuff of, like, originally it was supposed to be the Skrin were surprised to see a life form that actually adapted so well to Tiberium. And I love that idea of, like, humanity still surprising the Skrin.
Unit ready.
We got a little bit of that in actual CNC3 proper, where they were like, what? The humans are still alive and they're still fighting each other? What the heck? But, you know,
Sir.
what are you going to do?
Unit
What are
reporting.
you going to do?
Building.
Alright, yeah, you're kind of right. Infantry is pretty much useless this late in the game, so we're just going to build a crap ton of Titans, a couple more Sentinel arrays, maybe some Juggies, and some Disruptors. And that's just kind of have to be what it is. No worries, Nascalogic. Good to have you here on the stream. Seems like it's starting to settle down just a touch. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Alright, let's see what the chat is saying. Okay. Azura says, I still can't believe they destroyed a smaller moon of Saturn by throwing it into the planet. And that was a crazy tactic for defending time from its enemies.
Unit ready.
I don't know what you're talking about. Luke Danger says, though of course GDI actually tried to help the Forgotten still, the mutant hovel is a GDI distributed shelter that they started using. Yeah, I I don't know if I would even be qualified for this, but I have been looking into basically kind of the hairy development in the last year of CNC3, and there seemed to be a lot of fan backlash when CNC3 was first shown off, because a lot of the lore was wrong and fans were like, what the heck is this? And so a lot of lore reworking seems to have been done in that final year. So little things like that seem to be touched on in CNC3 but never developed, like the mutant hovels, what happened to them, little things like that, I think might have been some of the last minute additions that were added in that last year that they just didn't have the time to further explore. I mean, again, I will probably, for somebody who loves Tiberian Sun as much as I do, will defend CNC3 more than most, but it's still sad to see a lot of those elements from Tiberian Sun just kind of be left forgotten. That was not intentional, folks. Luke Danger.
Base and forces.
I know, Ava. Something that the Forgotten mod, which uses it as the Forgotten's Barracks, conspicuously forgot in their efforts to slander GDI. Yeah, I like the Forgotten mod. I don't think I ever finished it. I think it was too difficult at a certain point. I couldn't beat it, but that was years ago. Hey, if you guys want to keep giving me free Tiberium, go right ahead. You know, it's funny. I never understood as a kid why the cyborgs exploded and left Tiberium behind. It's like, aren't they just cyborgs? Why do you need Tiberium? And obviously, I never played Renegade growing up. That perfectly explains why the cyborgs are built from Tiberium. So it's kind of interesting that, like, Renegade is still an important part of the lore, as goofy as that game can be. Shot Combo says, I used to think Tiberium was a parallel to oil, but now I think control through AI and increased totalitarianism is a better fit for today. I mean, Tiberium is really just a catch-all for any sort of resource that humanity fights over. It was originally supposed to be a stand-in for the spice from Dune, and it kind of became whatever the plot needed to be, and it's a fitting metaphor for really humanity's greed in any sense. And kind of the ever-forward marching of progress and what that does to the environment. At least that's the way it seems to me. That might be me reading into it. I don't know what the Westwood devs intended, but it does seem to be a pretty great metaphor for humanity kind of thinking in short-term solutions and not really thinking long-term, which I think is a major problem for many of... It's the source of many problems for humanity, I think, is that we think far too much in short-term solutions and nobody thinks in long-term solutions, because that requires faith, that requires, and I don't mean in a religious sense, I mean in the sense of it requires actually waiting and trusting that, like, hey, I put in the work, I do things the proper way, and in time that will yield things better than it would normally be. Because let's be real, like, capitalism would work better with long-term thinking. Even if you compare, like, private companies that are not on the stock market, like Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out, that are like family-owned private affairs, their strategy tends to be, we're gonna make one franchise or a few franchises, really get our nails into this part of the market, and just build strong foundations, and then we'll slowly franchise out and slowly build up. It's a much slower build-up, but it's a much more stable build-up that can actually be sustained. Whereas the model of stock-traded companies like your McDonald's, your Wendy's, or what have yous, they are based off of aggressive borrowing, aggressive debt collecting, and aggressive franchise expansion, hoping to outpace their debt with how much money they're making from taking over the market by storm. And that is a really weird thing, because of the stock market, it doesn't matter how much money you make in a year. It doesn't matter if you're covering all of your costs. You need to be making aggressively more money every year to please stockholders. It's an artificial system that rewards short-term thinking and exponential growth, which I don't think is natural in a capitalistic free market society. It's not natural to have exponential growth forever. Whereas if you're in a privately, like, family-owned franchise, you have the freedom to just be like, hey, I covered my cost, I'm not in the red, I'm in the black, that's good enough. I can use that extra money to, like, pay for, you know, college scholarships for my employees, or pay them better, or that sort of thing, because you're actually able to have the freedom to use your money to better your company and better your employees, because you need your employees. You need your employees to make your company work well. But with the whole stock market and the investors, you've added a whole nother party that you are now more loyal to than your own customers, more loyal to than your own employees, more loyal to, in a sense, to your own company. It's like a parasite onto what would naturally be like a normal business model. And I think that is a larger symptom of the idea of humanity wanting short-term solutions as opposed to having the patience to build things long-term. Because again, like I said, I think that things are better for business if you do things long-term. But the way that our economy is set up now, it doesn't reward long-term thinking. It rewards short-term gains, and it rewards short-sighted thinking. And I think that has been to the detriment of, even if you're right-wing, like that is a detriment to free market capitalism. And of course, if you're left-wing, that's a detriment to any sort of social services, to any sort of workers being treated properly. Like, it's a mess, and nobody on either side of the political divide should be happy with the current state of
Destroy
affairs.
Cabal's base and forces.
Sorry,
Unit ready.
you got me on a long rant. You guys did it again. You know what you do. You get me here, and it's fun. Nastalogic says, I mean, even your video essay about GDI and its history seems like the later games were really confusing in terms of the timeline when the first war began and how it evolved years. Definitely, for sure. Shock combo. South Cork ruined the word spice melange for me. I know what you're referring to. He's talking about the spice. The spice melange. Styles says, cyborgs are good for providing Tiberium, but you can't put pavement over it. This is true. Michael Gordle says, so basically stockholders are basically the mask for the mask. I actually have not seen the mask. That's the Jim Carrey one, right? So I'm not sure what you're referring to. You can explain further if you'd like.
Base under attack.
I need more. I know I could do pavement, but I just want to destroy them. So let's RPG it. Azura says capitalism is dead, feudalism is back, baby. A lot of people are considering that basically, like, if things keep going the way they go, corporations will basically create their own fiefdoms. Maybe not literally, but like something like that, where it'll become sort of like corporate feudalism going forward. Which really, feudalism is just kind of a mafia sort of system with extra steps. Necessary in the pursuit of creating a culture of democracy when you start with absolute monarchy, but would certainly be a step backwards for a society such as ours. Luke Danger, Commander, you're ranting. Remember your objectives. I know, I'm just pumping out everything. I've played this mission semi-recently, because I went back through the entirety of, oh my gosh, guys, the Firestorm campaign a little while back, and my gosh, there's lots of obelisks. There's just so many obelisks of light, and they keep rebuilding them like super fast, so you can chew through a ton of titans very quickly if you just don't have an overwhelming amount. Hey, it's Michael Gordle says, basically think of stockholders as shoulder devils. Yeah, exactly. It's a completely outside entity that you're now having to cater to that I don't think is natural to the way a typical business would run. And I know it's kind of weird thinking of a business as something natural, but I do think it is, just in the sense of, like, humans have been trading their goods from their labor from the beginning of time. Like, I don't think that's something that's unnatural. The idea of basic trade and business is something that has been with us for as long as someone has had a surplus of apples in their orchard, and rather than let them go bad in storage or hoard them and for yourself, you find a way to make a win-win scenario for your neighbors.
Yes, sir.
Luke Danger says, also feudalism, or rather the numerous customs, laws, and traditions that is a shorthand for, is a system that specifically arises from a lack of central authority, basically a post-apocalyptic situation. True. Typically that is the case, because feudalism didn't really have a strong hold at a certain point in the French monarchy, because they eventually took a turn towards doubling down on absolute monarchy and bringing a lot more authority back into the French crown, and that kind of killed any attempt at feudalism. Whereas Britain suffered from a series of weak kings, and specifically with King John during Richard the Lionheart's crusade, which forced the barons to make him sign the Magna Carta, which strengthened the power of the barons and strengthened the feudal system, which was a stepping stone toward decentralization and eventually towards British democracy in the parliamentary system. So, in reality, feudalism is, it is a result of a lack of central authority, and it is, in my opinion, a good stepping stone towards eventually having a tradition of democracy. But again, since we already have democracy, that would be a step back, in my opinion, especially since, given the way things are right now, the feudalism would almost certainly be in the hands of corporations. Zora says, well, it's insightful, so I guess ranting is good now? I mean, that's basically what we do on these streams. Do we ever not do that? Alright, I'm going to build a few more juggernauts, and then we're going to get going. I mean, that's one of the most fun things about these streams, is you guys bring up a lot of thought-provoking ideas, and we get to talk about them. And you know how polarized everything is right now. The fact that I can talk about things about, like, economy and politics, and not modern politics, obviously, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but, like, I just like talking about stuff like this, and the fact that I can talk about them in an environment where people aren't going to get weird or bring up modern politics, or we can just be objectively like, yeah, these things suck, and this is how things are, like, it's refreshing, you know? It reminds me of the 90s and the 2000s when it was a little less polarized, and I know that's crazy because I grew up in, like, the post-9/11 era, so, like, to look back at that era with nostalgia is probably ridiculous, and a perfect example of, like, the good old days never truly existing. But I mean, yeah, it was less polarized, and these streams kind of remind me of that, which is nice, so thank you. Luke Danger says, which funnily enough means that while it probably wasn't feudal knights and all, there are good odds that feudal organization happened in the Tiberian timeline, saying all of Nod's warlords. Oh yeah, almost certainly. And if I ever cover the time period between Tiberian Sun and Tiberian Dawn, I would love to touch on that. Owen Lawrence says, by the way, speaking of family-owned businesses, you were onto something. This is probably why the first legally privately owned businesses in Cuba and Vietnam were private family-owned businesses, less controversial. That's actually fascinating. Can you expand further upon that? Because I don't know as much about Vietnam and Cuba's history as I would like.
Sir, orders received.
Oh, look at you guys. If you sent anything more than 3 cyborgs, you might actually be a threat to me. Michael Rodel says, you have angered the stockholders. A McNuke TM has been sent to your doorstep in 10 minutes. You're not wrong! I mean, this is precisely why places like Cuba and Venezuela initially turned to communism and nationalized all of the foreign corporations within their borders. Because, at least initially, that's not a bad idea. Because a lot of the problems that the South American and Central American and Caribbean nations face is that they have to deal with a lot of foreign corporations that are basically taking all the jobs of the native population and not allowing native corporations and businesses to take hold, and kind of just sucking a lot of the wealth from that nation and shipping it overseas. So in order to stop that, you initially just kind of put a halt on everything and nationalize all the foreign industries so that you can eventually give it back to the people. The problem is, to quote the Dark Knight, the last person who was a dictator never gave up his power, and his name was Julius Caesar. Like, it's a delicate balance to do, because desperate times call for desperate measures, and sometimes in desperate situations where you have a lot of foreign investment, nationalizing your industries can be a good short-term decision. The problem is very few people ever give that power back to the people once they've done it, because that kind of power is intoxicating. So yeah. Luke Danger, only a 10-foot pole? Maybe a 10-meter pole. Alright, we're almost ready to invade, guys. Astrologic. That's basically what Ubisoft is going for. As by the next week, some employees are going to strike, trying to fight against their CEO, Yves Guillemot, because it's chaos in the company. Yeah, I've been following the Ubisoft stuff. It's absolutely insane. The Guillemot family needs to go. They are ruining the company. And
Construction complete.
I don't know. Would it be much better with Tencent in charge? Probably not. But like, I just can't stand the Euros. I feel like they absolutely ruined that company.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Okay,
Unit ready.
1,
Sir.
2,
Unit reporting. Waiting order.
3, and then we'll make you guys 4. Hopefully, that's enough. Because like I said, the Cabal bases really chew through Titans. So we'll keep making them, but like, let's get a move on.
Waiting orders. Unit reporting. Waiting orders. Waiting orders.
Unit ready.
Waiting orders.
Here we go. Owen Lars says Cuba and Vietnam were both originally fully planned state economies, Soviet style with some cooperatives. Unified Vietnam allowed family-owned farms to avoid starvation. Later, Vietnam legalized. Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I can see why that would be the case. I think in our complicated world today and how polarized it is, we tend to lose a lot of nuance, and in order to cope with how complicated and globalized the world is, we throw everything into broad terms just to make sense of it. And I think, unfortunately, by doing so, we lose a lot of nuance. One of those things is people on the right will tend to be like, oh, we want free market economies. We don't want
Space and forces.
any sort of government control, so they will defend corporations because in their mind that's all part of free market capitalism, not realizing that once it hits monopoly stage, it's not a free market anymore, and you are actually defending the very thing that's killing your ideal, which is a free market economy. Similarly, I think people who are more on the left would say, no, we don't want any sort of like private industry. That's bad. That's where all the corporations are. Not realizing that, like, well, smaller family-owned businesses and that sort of thing is actually really good and is actually more emblematic of the community and social welfare that you purport to love. So, but I think people sort of lump things into giant, broad terms and then say, well, that's against what I believe, so I need to fight it, instead of looking at things at a case-by-case basis and realizing, like, oh, maybe this is actually good in some cases, or maybe this is good for my country, or good at this point in history. Like, I don't know. I think the more we're talking with each other and the more we're talking with our neighbors, and the less that we're simply flipping the table and being like, well, you're the other, and actually talking things out, the better we'll have at actually having good solutions that work on a case-by-case basis, and the less we'll be controlled by powerful elites who really benefit from us being divided against each other. Because at the end of the day, like I have a cousin who's like a full-blown communist, and I'm, you know, not a fan of communism. You probably have guessed that from what I've said. But I trust her far more than I do some faraway politician or billionaire who I don't know. Like, we need to get back to the idea of, like, I trust my neighbor. I know them. I care about them. I know they care about me. And go from there. Because if you trust some faraway entity who happens to, at least on paper, follow your beliefs, I think that's how you get control. Ugh. Anyway. I need to read Owen Lars stuff. This is really good stuff he's got here. Owen Lars says, dominated by SMEs and small family businesses, Cuba started introducing cell phone companies and very small family-owned companies in the 90s to survive the Soviet collapse. Exactly, and that's what a lot of communist societies do. Even China had to basically create kind of a hybrid economy just to survive. Let's get you guys in here first as fodder. Let's keep building more Titans. Later, Cuba allowed cooperative farming, and now private companies are allowed to employ up to 1,000 employees, but they still all family companies. Most employees are family members. Right. And you can debate the ethics of having that much control over companies and that sort of thing, but it is interesting to see how different countries employ limited forms of free market economies.
Yes, sir. On my way.
What is that up here? I need more Titans. Alright, let's get you guys over here and deployed.
Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Sir, yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Sir, moving out. Sir, moving out.
Let's go. GDI's got artillery now, buddy. What you gonna do about it? That's right, nothing.
Yes, sir. Sir, got it. Got it. Waiting orders.
All right, let's blow this guy to smithereens.
Waiting orders. Unit ready. Yes, sir.
Michael Grohl says Adam Smith wrote about against monopolies and believed they stifled industry and broke capitalism, which I agree with. Yeah, I started reading on the Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. I need to finish it. I feel like that would be a fascinating read for me. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Okay, take it out.
Unit ready.
All right, we're good. Sorry, I'm a little behind on the chat, but you guys have some fascinating things to say, and I really, really, really want to hear what you have to say. Yes, more Titans. Let's go. What? Okay, what do we got here? Who's shooting at us? Oh, here we go. Face the wrath of my juggernauts. Who would have thought that you could stand before my juggernauts? Turns out no one. All right, let's get our Titans to rally here first before we continue going. You guys are talking about not having a navy. That would be interesting. Owen says, and again, I love these streams where we analyze CNC Tiberian lore and use fictional backdrops to bring up historical examples. What the frick is going on over here? Somebody is losing a lot of power. Yeah, no, I absolutely love it, Owen, as well. Luke Danger says, honestly, I'd expect a non-navy to be more submarines than surface battleships like Tiberian Wars, especially since battleships would be really hard to hide from size and tonnage. Yeah, I never understood why in CNC3, like, Nod has these massive battleships. Like, it looks cool, don't get me wrong. But, like, why? How in the world was not able to hide that? This isn't like RA2 with the Soviets hiding their navy. This is even more ridiculous. All right, we'll take our Titans and then we'll go. National Logic, especially after they shut down Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, which was supposed to be dropped 2 weeks ago after 6 years, but no, they destroyed the series completely. Like a stab to the heart. Yeah, I was actually really excited at that because I didn't really play much of the the Prince of Persia games, and I really was looking forward to getting into the series for the first time through that remake, and now that's just gone. Oh, that's right, I have you guys. You join these gamers.
On my way. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit orders received. Waiting on my way. Yes, sir.
Cloak unit detected.
Unit ready.
All right, let's go. I know I'm saving a lot, but we gotta go. I gotta catch up with the chat. Stop. Owen Lars. Adam Smith and Karl Marx are more similar than dissimilar. They were both modernist economists, both believed in a symbolic abstract spirit, the hand of the market versus the that's a big word. Dialectical spirit of Hegel. I have never heard that second term before, which is crazy, but that's also because while I've read the Communist Manifesto, I have never read Das Kapital, so that might be a force that's listed there. All right, let's send you guys in first. You may be right. Little Lord Jumper says subs make more sense than battleships and it fits all the aesthetics. You're not wrong. Oh, no, you don't. All right, let's move up. Move up. Let's move up. Let's make a push. I like that the disruptors are kind of protected against damage from themselves, but like no one else is.
Yes, sir. Sir. No, unit ready. You got it.
Okay, there we go. The Danger says, I mean, is the GDI Navy massive? We only see a limited number of ships just because they have ships made with tons of them. That's a good point. We don't really know.
Unit ready. Yes, sir. Sir.
Don't.
Orders received.
I love that GDI gets some weapons that are like just as terrifying as non-weapons with things like the disruptor. I just think it's cool.
Yes, sir.
Go better. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the chat. Owen Lars says, a Nod Navy seems like it would be almost exclusively have small submarines and
Orders
transports.
received. On my way.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Small, high-speed covert transports and submarines.
On my way.
Missouri says, I'm not against not having a Navy. I would just want to see get it together like other level ones. Yeah, no, there's... The CNC universe is something that I'm always like, man, I wish I could delve even deeper into it, which, you know, is why we're making this documentary together.
Sir. Orders received. Yes, sir. Sir.
Silos needed.
Okay, we need to keep making more Titans.
Building.
Silos needed. What you actually need is not enough Titans.
You got it. Sir.
Construction complete.
Orders received. Unit ready.
Unit lost.
Yep.
Building. Unit lost. Construction.
Oh, all the civilians came over here after we rescued them. That's cool.
Unit reporting.
That's a nice little feature. I like that. You guys are useless. Let's get you up here where you can be of some use.
Unit reporting. Waiting orders.
Now, let's also save because we're making some good progress. Okay, somebody's trying to ping me.
Unit ready.
First off, Nasta Logic, in my opinion, it might be biased, but I think that I don't think there's any franchise that tells a perfect story than the Prince of Persia Sands of Time trilogy does, which released in 2003, 4, and 5.
On my way.
If you know of a way where I can play that through like Xbox backwards compatibility or something, let me know.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
Unit ready.
Okay.
Destroyed class.
Benjamin Delapine says, I remember during the Cabal Rebellion in Mission 6, you can take the construction building and nod, but I don't
Waiting
remember
orders.
if it gets... Gosh dang it. Alright, you.
Unit reporting. Waiting orders.
Azura says, base and looking forward to it, Snowman. Thank you, Azura. Appreciate it. And appreciate your writing for the documentary as well. I'm going to be using both of them.
On my way.
If all goes good. Again,
Detected.
Yes,
things
sir.
change by the time we get to the end, but at least right now, it's in the script. Aussie says, I'm back. Sorry for leaving you out there for a bit. Not a problem at all.
Yes, sir.
Alright, Philippine says, about the Nod fleet, you see the Destroyer and Keen's Wrath in some missions. This is true. Oh, look. Oh, gosh, they're all right here. I didn't even notice that.
Yes, sir.
Gosh, the stealth in Tiberian Sun era was so OP.
Yes, sir. No problem.
The only explanation I've been able to hear that I kind of agree with for why Nod would
Building.
abandon their stealth technology that was clearly so good in this one
Construction complete.
is that I think it was just really expensive, which kind of tracks if you've been playing as Nod in this game.
Detected.
Requires a lot of power output,
Cloaked
Yes,
unit.
sir. Unit ready.
whereas the Disruptor Tower technology that you see in Tiberian Wars, like, you've seen the Disruption Towers, they're tiny. They're probably really cheap, even though they can't, like,
You got it.
cloak themselves. They're probably ridiculously cheap and probably don't require nearly as much power. And for a Nod that lost the Second Tiberian War and is on the back foot now, I imagine that was a much more cost-effective solution and a lot easier to equip every Nod base or many Nod bases with that, especially in a world where GDI space-based assets are so now advanced at this point. And GDI's modus operandi, as you see in the tutorial mission for GDI in CNC3, is just go find a Nod base. Oh, we found it? Okay, ion cannon it from orbit.
Unit ready.
So, like, I think I finally found, like, a lore explanation for that makes sense to me.
Moving out. On my way. Yes, sir.
Base under attack.
Moving out. On my way.
Do you want me to turn down my audio for the game? I can turn it down a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn down the game audio just a bit. Let's go to the member highlights for the comments while I do that. One sec. All right, so there it is. Desktop audio. So here we go. Can you guys still hear me? Our featured comments from our members is Chase Baker's comment on our "What is your favorite final GDI campaign mission?" He said, "Ground Zero. It is the thematic culmination of GDI working together and taking back the planet. Play your cards right to walk away with 3 super weapons. For all the early struggles there is no better catharsis than unleashing fury of all 3 factions upon the invaders." And also we have Shock Combo, who made his comment on the "When Kane mysteriously disappears into glowing lights at the end of the Nod campaign, what the heck is happening?" And he wrote, "Gandalf beams him up onto the Enterprise," which I think is the canon answer. And let's go back to the game. Thank you guys for being here. Luke Danger says, "My take is that the Disruptor Tower is the cheap version, while Nod lore-wise still have the full generators for particularly important places. It also ties with using decoy disruption towers."
Silos needed.
All right, is that better, Aussie?
Unit orders received. Unit reporting.
Forward.
Unit reporting.
All right.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Ah, you say silos needed. I say not enough Titans.
Building.
Ozzy says, "Definitely better. Thanks for the tweak to the audio." No problem.
Construction.
Or as the engineers say, no problem.
Building. Construction complete. Unit ready.
Okay. Crow Pathfinder says, "Disruption tech was likely a way to deal with usage of sensors becoming widespread. I could see a lore explanation being that it cannot be detected by the TW2 era sensor tech." It's possible. That's another good explanation. Alright, let's
Unit ready.
get you guys
Yes,
up
sir.
here in case they attack.
Unit reporting.
Alright, I think the only way across is across this bridge, so we might just have to make do.
Unit ready.
Orders received. Orders received, sir. Unit report, sir.
Styles R just says, "Kane should have just used the GPS scrambler from Kassad." Little Lore Jumper says, "Anyone interested in GDI having an Oni/CIA sub-faction to kind of stoop to Nod's level? It expands its factions further." Yeah, that's something we kind of explore a lot more in the documentary I'm working on, because in my mind, this is GDI right after they've switched from being...
Ready.
Are they going across the ice? Good luck, guys. Oh no, it's the ice. I don't think they're going to make it, are they? I think they all sank. Oh, one of them made it. 2 of them made it. Just 2, though. Well, good luck. You really could have just gone across the land. You did not need to do that, but whatever. Never interrupt an enemy while they're making a mistake.
Destroy Cabal's base and forces.
Waiting orders.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I think GDI just going from being Black Ops 9 to being GDI would still do some kind of shifty stuff. And you kind of see that in the Nod campaign in Africa, where I think they're underfunded and have to do that kind of stuff. What's going on? Yeah, just don't worry. You gotcha. Michael Grohl says, "By the way, if a Red Alert 1 documentary is ever made, I have a decent General Kukov impression, so I suppose I could use my talents there." That would be fantastic. I'm probably going to go straight to Tiberian Sun, but I would love to get around to doing a Red Alert 1 documentary one day. Azura says, "The Titan is an Abrams on legs. I love it." You are not wrong.
Sir.
Let's get up here. I think we have to go north.
Moving out. On my way. Waiting orders. Sir. Unit ready.
Silos needed.
Orders received.
Nope, not enough Titans.
Building.
Ozzy says, "Snowman, I had a really cool question for you. If you had to experience every bad event in history, but could skip one, which one would you skip?" What do you mean to experience every bad event in history? What threshold are we going through? Like, every death of the bubonic plague, or every major event that a group would have to suffer through? And is it something that, like, because 9/11 is a big event, but that's not something everyone in the world had to experience. That's only something people in New York did, and really only Americans. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what's the, what kind of a question is that? Bad historical events such as the Black Plague, French Revolution, World War II. Which one would I want to skip? I think I've already lost by the mere fact that I have to be A better question would be which one would I want to have to go through? Because in my opinion, like, the fact that I have to go through, like, the War of the Roses, the 100 Years' War, World War I, World War II, I feel like I've already lost. Like, what is the point at that point? Are you looking for the answer of any World War I? Because I'll say it, but, like, I feel like you've just introduced, like, a hellish situation here. Styles argues that Star Trek's Federation has their own little covert ops division. Yes! What's it called again? I can't remember what it's called. I'm trying to get into Star Trek right now. Zaptasia says, I go back to stop Westwood from being bought out. The worst tragedy that has ever befallen mankind. But again, if we follow the interviews from a lot of Westwood devs, they really don't blame EA for the most part, from what I can gather. They kind of said it was their own fault for, like, overextending, basically getting happy with all the money and support they were getting and kind of working on too many projects at once instead of focusing. So, at least that's what I got from the few interviews that I kind of watched. I didn't watch the full interviews, so I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if you know. Or if you actually did watch the full interviews. Because for the anniversary, a bunch of people were able to get, like, direct interviews with a lot of old Westwood guys. Whoop. Okay. Aussie says, see, the question's like this. Your time machine is broken where it only goes to the time era of bad events, so you would have to live during that time. Also, you were like Tom Cruise from Edge of Tomorrow. So am I also immortal? Because it's going to take time to live through all of these things. Like, I would probably die before I made it through the entirety of the bubonic plague. And I don't mean by being killed by the bubonic plague. I mean just because that was like a 200-year event. And presumably I would die of old age before I finished even one event. Nastologic says, I wouldn't say the Two Thrones was the downfall of the franchise, but I can say that the drawback of the elements, or rather a lack of development cycles, started to become more and more evident. Well, yeah, I mean, there was a time where they were working on, like, Renegade 2. They were working on Renegade 2. They were working on Earth and Beyond. They were working on Tiberian Continuum, Tiberian Incursion. Like, they were working on several projects all at once, and I think that was probably bad. I don't think that's controversial to say. Septasia says, Microsoft was actually really close to buying Westwood, actually, but the guy who was in charge were his honeymoon, and EA had already bought it, something like that. I wonder if it's a bit different. I mean, Microsoft is awful too, but seeing how they're treating the Age of Empires franchise, and I love the Age of Empires franchise, and we have been eating so good as far as support that the Age of Empires franchise has gotten from Microsoft. Oh my gosh, you gotta admit, we'd probably be getting a lot of amazing remasters at the very least if Microsoft had owned Westwood. But obviously there's no way we could possibly predict what would have happened. But I imagine it would have to have been better than what we currently have. Zero says, Snowman is a Highlander. There can only be one. I actually haven't seen Highlander. I really should. Where's the last of the Cabal stuff? Am I missing something? Well, I'm not sending my Titans across the ice. I learned my lesson there. Is it, like, right here? There's probably something stealth. Time to go stealth hunting. Is it in the corner? I'm gonna check the corner.
Sir. Unit ready. Yes, sir.
I don't know. I'm gonna go bubonic plague, because as much as I say, like, World War I is awful, that's only awful amongst wars. If we expand the definition to bad events, the bubonic plague is the worst. Because I'm gonna be the Tom Cruise Edge of Tomorrow, so I would still die from bubonic plague. I would just respawn, and dying from the bubonic plague is an awful, awful experience. And even if I didn't catch the bubonic plague, it would be horrifying to watch everyone else dying from the bubonic plague. And there was no real cure. Like, you just burned through enough of the population until we eventually built a group immunity, and then it kept coming back over generations. So, like, it was a depressing time. There was no real victory. It just ended. And, like, that would be just an absolutely depressing time to live through. So I'm going to say bubonic plague. Let's see. Saptageous. Imagine getting official expansion packs for old school CNCs the way the AO games do. I don't think they're thankful enough. Honestly, and I say this as an Age of Empires fan, I don't think the Age of Empires community is thankful enough for what they're getting. They're getting brand new expansions, brand new factions. Age of Mythology is getting new campaigns. Age of Empires 2 was getting new campaigns. Age of Empires 3 got new historical battles that were co-op. I played a lot of those with the D-Train. Like, my gosh, guys. Can you imagine if we got even a fraction of what you guys got for the CNC franchise? Oh. Like, just pray to whatever God you follow and thank him for whatever it is. Because, like, what old franchise gets that much support? No one. The correct answer is no one. Nobody gets that kind of support. So every time I see anybody in like the AO2 community being like, oh, this was unbalanced, or I don't know if they should have added this, or they shouldn't have rushed this too much, I'm like, shut up! Shut up! You are getting so much more than every other RTS franchise from the 90s gets. Be thankful. Sorry, that was from the heart, guys. That was from the heart. Nestalogic. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is one classic RTS game that manages to consistently maintain a spot in the Steam's top 100 game list, something that no other classic RTS has been able to do. Yes, and that speaks less to the skill of the remaster, although I will not discount that, and more to the fact that Age of Empires 2 was just a phenomenal game. Where the heck are they? Is there like a stealth tank nearby, or a power plant I missed?
Orders received. Sir.
Silos
Waiting
needed.
orders.
Nope, not enough mobile sensor arrays. Ugh.
Unit ready. Yes, sir.
Wasn't there a game? Oh yeah, CNC 3 does this for the global conquest battles. After a certain time period, all the stealth stuff is just revealed. I wish there was a feature like that. Yeah, no, not a bad idea, Loot Danger. Let's build some hover MLRS to control the ice. Bleh. Styles RJ. There's a light tower where you liberate the people from human cyborgs. This is true. That probably counts. You are correct.
Building.
Sir. Orders
Can you guys?
received.
Can you guys?
On my way.
Unit
Waiting
ready.
orders. Waiting orders. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Construction complete.
Unit report. Yes, sir. Unit reporting.
Well, it was worth a shot.
New construction options.
Really? That's it? I don't get a bomber?
Building.
Useless.
Destroy the boss base and
Waiting
forces.
orders. Yes, sir. Unit reporting.
Okay, nothing over here.
Unit
Put
reporting.
one of you over
Orders
here.
received.
One of
Unit
you
reporting.
over
Orders
here.
received.
One
Unit
of you
ready.
over
Moving
here.
out.
Unit
Unit
ready.
ready.
And we'll put you up here.
Orders received.
Unit ready. Building.
Waiting orders. Moving out. Unit reporting.
Oh,
Subterranean unit detected.
what the heck?
Construction.
Oh my gosh, this little goober is the last one that's hanging around.
Building.
Orders received. Sirs received. Reporting.
I mean, honestly, that's what I would do.
Subterranean
If
unit.
GDI had taken over my whole base, I'd just be like, I'm just gonna go drilling underground for a while and just
Subterranean
wait
unit
this out.
detected.
Where's he going? No, you don't.
Primary building set. Building.
Unit ready.
I can't see him now. I lost him. Where's he gonna pop up? Nastalogic says the original AoE 2 came out September 1999, barely a month after Tiberian Sun came out, and the definitive edition came out in 2019 during the 20th anniversary, and the rest is history. Gosh dang it! It keeps popping up and going back down.
Unit reporting.
There he is.
Subterranean unit
Sir?
detected.
Orders received. Orders received.
Subterranean
received.
unit detected.
Gosh dang it, and we lost him.
Sir? Yes, sir. Unit reporting, sir.
This is a really, really annoying thing that I have to do. I've never seen this happen.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Bridge repaired.
Okay,
Subterranean unit detected.
Yes,
here
sir.
we are.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
On my way. Orders received. Orders received.
Subterranean
Yes,
Come
sir.
on.
detected.
On my way. Yes, sir. Over and out. On my way. Yes, sir. On
Subterranean
my way.
unit detected.
Yes, sir. Orders received.
Unit
Orders
ready.
received. On my way. Yes, unit ready.
Subterranean
Waiting
unit
orders.
detected.
Over and out. Over and out. Over and out. Over, sir. You got it.
Yes! Okay, finally. That was annoying. That was really annoying. Yeah, I don't know. Seismic charges would have been fun. Michael Rose says, if I ever make a CNC troll mod, it would probably be a part of it, alongside all units having the pathing of the Riddler 1 harvesters. Still better than the Tiberian Dawn harvester pathing. Zaptages says, I could see an animated CNC Tiberian series working, like the Splinter Cell series on Netflix, but they should probably name it Tiberian Dawn or something. Yeah, I would love a game that basically just goes through a day in the life of a GDI commander, or that followed several different characters throughout the entire war. Like, honestly, something like my documentary, where like it follows some journalists, it follows some soldiers, it follows, you know, some economic people. Like, I think a series that was animated like that would probably be the best way to adapt it. Yeah, that would sound amazing. 33% mission efficiency. Okay, Aussie, it's I try my best, okay? Okay. All right, let's get started. I'm going to turn off my mic, and so you can turn your volume up to hear the cutscenes. And then we're going to go to the next one. Mic muted.
General Anton Slavik. He's Nod. He's a butcher. And at the moment, he's our partner. Cabal has turned on its masters. Nod's soldiers are dying by Cabal's hands. And as sweet as the sound of dead Nod zealots might be, they're only being recycled to come back at us under Cabal's command. Eva, report.
Using GDI and NOD-scan data, we have pinpointed Cabal's core. Data traffic indicates that all commands are originating from this location.
Right. Now look at what we're up against. We can't get close. However, there are 2 ancillary facilities that support the main base. A joint effort assault has been planned. One by us, one by Nod. Dr. Boudreaux, if you will.
Although the operation on Colony 6 was a relative success, Cabal is attacking civilian settlements. He kills the old and the infirm and takes the rest for consumption into his army. The Daedalus team and I have implanted one of Cabal's cyborgs with a virus that will infect his production stations.
Commander, your target area is a cyborg processing facility. We need you to get that cyborg into that complex.
Yes. Once inside the facility, the modified cyborg can be interfaced with Cabal's system and infect the production cycle.
Once you accomplish that, I want the entire area swept. Take that complex out completely.
Can everyone hear me again?
Battlefield control. Stand by. Reinforcements have arrived.
All right. I think I saw Shock Combo playing through this mission a little while back on his channel.
Link open. By your command.
Okay. Save it on Factory Recall. And save the next HAC Snowman. Alright. Remember correctly, directly across this bridge is a bunch of obelisks in their main base, so let's not do that. We need to somehow get over here to the left. So I think there's a cliff down here we can use.
Sir? Awaiting order. Affirmative.
And look, they're just attacking civilians and getting them in. This is horrifying, by the way. There's gathering up civilians, regular innocent civilians, throwing them into transports and then forcibly converting them to cyborgs. If you've ever seen, I think it's Age of Steel,
Infantry reporting.
that Doctor Who episode with the Cybermen, I would imagine it's something like that. Which, by the way, was horrifying to me as, like, late teenager watching that for the first time. Maybe it was an adult, I don't know.
Yes, sir. Waiting order. Sir?
Is there a way to come across here, or do I have to go through
Yes, sir.
here? Yeah, I think I have to go through the tunnel. Or no, I don't.
Waiting order. Unit reporting.
Excellent. Yeah, we're just gonna bypass all this. We don't have the power to fight these guys just yet.
Unit ready. On my way. Unit reporting.
I love how they flail like that. Like, I know we're, like, we infected a cyborg and we're just, like, taking him around like he's just a mindless robot, but that was a human
Waiting orders.
at one point.
Sir.
And that's a pretty horrifying thought. Alright, where am I going? Do I not get a MCV at some point?
Unit ready.
Okay. Did I miss something, guys? Is there an easier way? Or do I just keep going? Because I remember going around this way and getting to the cyborg facility, so I think I'm going the right way. Okay. Let's just go
Yes,
this
sir.
way then.
Sir. Unit reporting.
I think I'm going the right way. I think if I go around this way, and then... Yeah,
Deliver the
then it's right
infected
there.
cyborg
Okay,
into
I am
the
going the right way.
communication network.
Thank you, Luke Danger. Guys, could you just, like, not walk across the field of Tiberium? I know I ordered you to do that, but have some sense of self-preservation.
Moving out.
The cyborg will be fine. You, not so much.
You got it, sir. Awaiting orders.
Ugh. Calling Nod Zealots humans is a bit of an overstatement, my dude.
Sir.
Especially when, well, I mean, this, for the Cabal era, that could have been a regular civilian that was forced into being a cyborg. In the Tiberian Sun proper era, yes, I would imagine most cyborgs would have been Nod volunteers. Most. Not all of them.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Orders received, sir.
Ugh. Luke Danger says, I mean, you ordered them to a rally point. How they get there was their choice. Exactly. Just like your article on Battlefield Control, which I really
Awaiting
liked.
orders. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Orders received.
All right, let's see what we can do.
Yes, sir. On my way. Sir. Got it. Loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes, sir. On my way. Awaiting orders. Moving out. Awaiting orders. Unit reporting.
Okay, I think this is the correct way.
Orders received. Orders received.
Oh, this looks like it's it.
Unit ready. Moving out. Sir. Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit processing. Proceeding. Unit reporting. Waiting order. Unit ready.
Okay, I'm guessing I gotta get to the center of this.
Sir. Unit ready. Proceeding. Proceeding.
Ah! Quickly! Quickly!
Yes, sir.
Unit lost. New terrain discovered.
Okay, we did it. We did it. Please work. Please work. Please work.
You got it.
Oh, a little too close, buddy. Okay, they are starting to kind of shoot each other.
You got it.
There we go. I love how the models go back to being light infantry, even if the nets capture full on cyborgs. Yeah, I think you might be right. For Pathfinder, honestly, I think the biggest miss in this mission is not giving you control over all the inert cyborgs and you affect the center. You only get a few. True.
Unit reporting. Loud and clear.
Okay.
Moving out.
Alright, so you're telling me I need to destroy the rest of these SAM sites before it can land. That makes sense. That is logical. You can't drop in something from the air without destroying the SAM sites. Whoa, you were fast, my dude.
Loud and clear. Input proceeding. Coordinates acquired.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Save.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Aussie says, please like the stream so the other commanders can find Snowman's channel. Whoop. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know these things were online.
Input affirmative.
Unit lost.
Let's go destroy the power plants first, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
System. Orders received. Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, I thought they were out of power.
Production plant.
Oh, that worked apparently.
On my
I mean, unless we want to capture these. You know, I might want to capture these.
No problem.
Alright, should I set up shop here or should I move up here? I think I should move up here.
Sir, moving out. Yes, sir. Waiting orders.
Yeah, let's move up here.
Awaiting order. Yes, sir. Orders received.
There's more Tiberium
Unit
over here.
reporting. Yes, sir. Unit moving out. Loud and clear. Unit reporting. Unit reporting. Sir.
There's some SIB to the south too, but the north is probably more secure. For sure. I know there's a massive base to the southwest with a lot
Yes,
of
sir. Yes,
hidden
sir.
power plants.
Moving out.
We'll try and set up shop here too
On
if we
my
can.
way. Moving out.
I'm only familiar with the CNC book by the wiki. How is the actual book? Oh, do you want to hear my thoughts on the book? I'm going to write a video essay on the CNC3 novelization. But if you want to hear my rants right there,
Yes, sir.
oh boy, are you in for a treat.
On my way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oops, that was a
Yes,
mistake.
sir.
No, I didn't mean to anger you. I'm sorry.
Orders received.
Ooh, look, more blue
On my
Tiberium.
way. Yes, sir. On my way. On my way. Yes, sir. On my way. Awaiting orders.
Yeah, that was the only way that was ever gonna go.
Awaiting
Yeah.
orders.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.
You're right, it is. That is the same background for the Tiberian Wars intro. One of the best parts of the game, honestly, in my opinion.
Construction complete. New construction options.
All right, now we're building a base. Now we're cooking with gas. Aussie, another question for you. If the no Germans existed today, you could say Nazis on this stream. Come on, we're all adults. Good grief. It was in 1984 over here. It's not like we're endorsing the Nazis. Every time we mention the word Nazi, it's so we can speak
Destroy
against
the
them. So it's
cyborg
like,
production
good
plant.
grief. Oh yeah, I forgot this thing over here. This is super cool. Look at that. That is straight up from Doctor Who. Anyway, moving on. If the Nazis existed today, do you think they would target books for censorship, or do you think they would care more about censoring the internet? I mean, that's a weird question to ask.
Construction.
Because, like, are they like regular, like, actual Nazis that were then, like, dropped from a time stream and they don't understand what the internet is? Or are they all up to speed? It's just You know, that's I don't know, like
Building.
like with so many ebooks online, I think it would be very easy to just censor everything and just not really care too much about books. Might become a Fahrenheit 451 situation. I don't know. I don't think the Nazis would survive. I mean, it's very similar to me as like the Confederacy, which only lasted for like a few years before it went down. Like the Nazi Germany is very similar as a political institution. It didn't last very long. Like ideologies like that, and specifically like economies that are built off of aggressive military expansion, don't really survive for very long. It's just not an ideology. Like, say what you will about communism, those regimes tend to last for a lot longer. They're more built off of larger systems that are a bit more sustainable, whereas a lot of like far-right ideologies like Nazism and fascism tend to burn bright but burn quickly. So like, I don't think there really is much thought that goes into, oh, how do we govern properly? How do we do that? It's more like, how do we conquer? How do we make our populace feel good about being, you know, of our nation and that sort of thing? It's not a very sustainable system. Zapte just says, you should watch The Man in the High Castle. I really should. At some point I should. Feels like it would be up my alley. What next? A mobile generals with random things stitched from General 0 Hour, things that don't even make sense. Don't give them ideas. Michael Rose says, my opinion, Goebbels would have had a hard time censoring the internet, as German propaganda heavily factored on the average people having limited sources of information rather than the internet. Yeah, we kind of have the opposite problem, in my opinion.
Building.
We kind of suffer from information overload. And that tends to make us paradoxically want to care more about, like, somebody else will collate this information for me. Some other news site or my subreddit or, you know, my media pundit organization or the expert will collate all this information and tell me what to think. Because there's simply too much information out there. It's overwhelming. And to a certain degree, it kind of makes sense. Like, we have to live our lives. We have to do our jobs. We have to take care of our families if we have them. Like, it's kind of almost understandable that it's like, well, I can't be politically informed and active. There's so much going on right now. Like, surely I just find a source that I trust and just let them tell me the biggest things going on in this thing. And that obviously is bad with social media and everything,
Construction complete.
where you can't trust anyone to not have an agenda. So it's rough. It's rough. Luke Danger says, there's a reason that the Norse were traitors more than raiders, pirates, Vikings. That's a good point. For all the media buzz and press that the Vikings get, the raiders, like, obviously they had farmers. Obviously they had traders. Obviously even their fighters became mercenaries that were hired out as far away as the Byzantine Empire, or the Eastern Roman Empire, more accurately. Like, because you can't actually sustain. And that's sort of the trap, I think, of more right-wing leaning people, is they seem to like the idea of, like, oh, a society bound by honor and morality and the warrior spirit, when the reality is a civilization like that never truly existed, at least not the way that they're saying. I think having, to some extent, a warrior honor culture integrated into your overall culture is a good thing. But a society built entirely on that is not something that can work. And Tolkien talked about this because he adored the Nordic cultures. He really loved the Viking cultures and everything like that, and he loved the Viking warrior spirit. But he also knew that that also tended to make the societies very violent, and to only really love violence for violence sake. Which is why you get that line in the books from Faramir where he says, you know, I do not love the sword for its swiftness or the soldier for his strength, something like that. What I do love is what they protect, which is not an inherently Viking idea. But he was sort of trying to take the ideas of what he loved about the Nordic warrior culture and integrate that with what he thought violence should actually be used for under a more, I suppose, Catholic Christian framework. Which I think is kind of the whole key. Like, you can love certain things about other cultures, but you really do need to think about, like, how do we integrate them with balance and in a correct way that doesn't give way to extremes? Because the extremes won't save you.
Building.
Okay, Little Lord Jumper. Speaking about authoritarianism, for some reason YouTube removed your comment on my channel. Oh, I think I did leave a comment on your channel. Yeah, I didn't realize that it was removed. YouTube is awful. Blue Danger, just as a note, the bridge you're guarding is broken, and if I remember correctly, can't be repaired. The crossing is either northwest or through a production center you cleared. I think there is a area northwest. If you go up this path, I think there's a secret pathway across that I can get to, which I will get to in a moment. I'm going to do the same thing, build a bunch of Titans, build a bunch of Disruptors, and then go get them. Very simple strategy. Little Lore Jumper, but they do jump through hoops in order to achieve it. Yeah. Zora says, war culture versus culture of war. Can you expand upon that, Azura? That sounds interesting. I really want to hear what you have to say about that. Shot combo. We will have that soon in the UK. Ingsoc. 1984 reference. I love how cultured you all are. Owen Lars. People think that the Norse, Mongolians, and Shogun Japanese were all literally Klingons in Star Trek. Exactly. Like, the Mongols still ruled an empire. Now, granted, they integrated themselves with the Chinese bureaucrats and had them rule a lot of things, but, like, they still knew how to rule. Like, the best societies, like, we think about the Romans as, like, oh, the consummate warriors. But they were also fantastic engineers, architects, city planners, road builders, engineers. Like, my gosh, have you seen the Roman aqueducts? Like, yeah, I love the Roman warriors as much as the next guy, but I love the Roman Empire, and I think about it constantly, A, because I'm a man, but also, B, because, you know, there were so many facets to why they were successful, and it's so fascinating, all of the different ways that they excelled in order to become fantastic empire builders. So yeah, I could talk about the Romans forever. Zaptageous, 1984 was a warning, not a manual. Exactly. Man, I say that about Jurassic Park and 100 other things. Alright, let's build some more Titans. Let's build one of these, because I kind of want to build some more stuff over here as well to get more Tiberium. Let's have you guys explore up here. Luke Danger, also being aware of when you are enjoying a very select part of a culture rather than trying to assume a culture is all about that part. Exactly, which is also, you know, a little weird.
Construction complete.
Yeah, I know. I just get into a habit. Astrologic. These things just
Building in progress.
I think that's everything. Let's build a little more power.
Building.
Luke Danger, not a secret passageway northwest, but it does lead you to a dam that you can destroy. Cabal's infinite power of the map.
Construction
Nice.
complete. Unit ready.
Owen Lars. Mongolians organize the most advanced post-system infrastructure and may be cool to LARPers, but it's extremely important. Exactly. You get what I'm saying. I need to learn more about the Mongolian Empire. Little Lore Jumper, I do think Ingsoc fulfills a system based on values. Not good values, so to speak. No, certainly not.
Destroy the
Luke Danger.
production
Honestly, this reminds me of an idea I'm playing for Pathfinder. Imade is basically treated as a Crusader goddess, but her portfolio is justice, rulership, honor, plus valor. Yes.
Unit
Let's build that.
building.
I read 1984 and Brave New World. Have you read dystopian novels in high school? I have not read 1984 or Brave New World. In high school, I read Fahrenheit 451, though. That was kind of the key dystopian fiction that kind of shaped a lot of my ideas on authoritarianism and societal decay. You could say that about Idiocracy nowadays. Fair enough. Little Lore Jumper, Super Earth from Helldivers 2. Yep, that's kind of a pastiche of a super nationalistic military society. Blue Danger, speaking of the Mongol post system, remember correctly, there's a game on Kickstarter where you play as one of those messengers that focuses on the non-horse archer spam parts of the Mongol Empire. That sounds super cool.
Building.
Alright, where's you? Where you go explore? Ugh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On my way.
Can I build an MCV now? No, I cannot. Well, that sucks. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Orders received. Yes, sir.
Don't blow up that bridge. I don't know if I can fix it.
On my way.
You know, you guys should just stop firing.
Unit ready. Waiting order on my way. You got it, sir. Orders received.
I love this little animation, whatever the... This little spin. Imagine the guy on the inside just absolutely rattling around inside there.
Unit ready.
Alright, let's start building some disruptors. Okay, I think we're good on this side. I might just build some towers to defend this area, and then we'll go get them.
Building. Unit ready.
I want to make this quick if we can. I have to be done by 1:30 at the absolute latest. I'd like to be done earlier because I'd like to pick up something from the Costco food court before I go to where I need to go later.
Production plant.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
Come and get me.
Orders received.
Come and get me. I don't want you to be on the bridge when I blow you up. And clear.
Sir.
No, no, no. Ah, fridge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, that's how you want to play it. That's how you want to play it. Okay. Okay, well, two can play at this game.
Unit reporting. Unit reporting. No problem.
I love the model for the dam. Ever since I saw it in the Vegas dam missions, it's just such a cool piece of what is that, voxels? So, I love it. Okay. Michael says it was the point where the messages could bring fresh fish to the Incan Emperor every morning. We're bringing up the Incan Empire? Did I miss that? Michael Rodel says infrastructure is one of the coolest things about the Incan Empire, since they were the ones using stone tools throughout the mountains and still built amazing roads. I should learn more about the Incan Empire. Styles RJ says V from Vendetta versus Ingsoc. Blue Danger. Honestly, real life takes priority, Snowman, and nice catch with the fridge snow. I curse very rarely, and even in actual real life. There's like a couple times in my life when I've been that angry. And even then, it wasn't like it came out unintentionally. Like, I chose to, like, let loose some F-bombs because I was that pissed off. And it wasn't to anyone's face. Like, I would never talk to someone like that. It was purely with friends, just, like, being frustrated. And... don't do that, guys! Yeah. Like, I don't know if I have it in me to ever curse anyone out to their face. Maybe I do. We all have a base human nature that is, in my opinion, generally not good, that we have to work to overcome. But that is that. Also, I tend to work with a lot of kids, just in my day-to-day life. So I've kind of built... You know what? Just die. So I tend to have a lot of like self-censoring kind of just built into my habits because it's necessary. You can't be dropping curse words off the blue when you're working with kids. That tends to get you fired. Alright, let's move you all up here. And also let's build some mobile sensor arrays and some more disruptors. That will be helpful. Incans also had a well-developed postal system, if I remember correctly. True. Luke Danger carryalls are also available, so yeah, that is built there too. Orca transports aren't buildable, sadly. Yeah, I wish. Bit of light. Glad to hear that you only curse rarely. Lord have mercy, I've let my own tongue go a bit too much. Taming the tongue. It is a constant war. But I think with any morality system you have, there should always be a sense of mercy. Always mercy. There's simply no other way, I think, to deal with the fragility of human nature if you don't have mercy. Solid boundaries, but mercy. Shock Compass says, I think we have a good base human nature. To a certain degree, I kind of agree with you. I don't know. I guess it's more complicated than just saying we have a base evil human nature. I don't know. I think it's a little. I think if gun to my Xbox, gun to my PC, if you said, do you think humans are basically good or evil? I think I would probably lean towards evil, but I do think it's more complicated than that simple answer. Just me personally. Obviously, I am not the arbiter of truth. That would be terrifying. Luke Danger. The dropship bay was basically Star Wars Force Commander, having you select your initial units, wasn't it? Yes, you're right. Okay, so you guys remember in Tiberian Sun, originally there was the idea, there was a cut material for them to basically have you select which units you were going to bring with you on the dropship before you started a mission. That was eventually cut, but it was a really cool idea, and the game you were talking about kind of had that function, which was really cool.
Destroy the cyborg production plant.
Cropath Finder says, I would say empathy over mercy. Yes, that is probably a more refined way of saying what I meant. I don't think you can have mercy without empathy. Well, I mean, yeah, overall, it's easier to have mercy if you have empathy. Empathy is a key thing, and I think generally empathy has to be taught to children. I think that's not something that necessarily comes out the gate fully formed. I think that's why you can often be surprised by, like, my goodness, why did you just on impulse just smack that other kid? It's like, oh, shrimp! No! No! Oh, just when I left all my forces! Okay, where's the, no. And you can't hit it! Gosh dang, okay, we're gonna load back and actually build up our turrets. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Luke Danger, never got to play FC, sadly. I saw my dad play bits of it. By the time I tried to, Windows couldn't handle the old game. Yeah, that's one of the saddest things when a modern computer can't play an old game. Pro Pathfinder says, agreed, empathy relies on a lot of nurture. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Classic Tiberian Sun moment, indeed.
Construction complete. Building.
Michael says, I'm alright. Good to hear that, Michael. Glad you're doing well. I don't want to put down pavement. I refuse. Bit of Light says, yeah, I remember the rock remix of Imperial March on the Force Commander movie. That's cool. Trevor Lane says, humanity has a cruel streak devoted to the outgroup. It is why propaganda has to other enemy forces so hard. Yes, and that happens throughout history. I think one of the things that makes it so easy for the Nazis to succeed was they basically were like, okay, you are... it. And this happened, honestly, I think, even with the slaves in America. You basically get people who are at the lower rungs of society to be like, well, at least you're not this group of society that we have decided is like the out group. And that way you can get even like lower class people to really like support elites and get them to do that. Like, people talk all the time about like, well, how could the Civil War been about slavery? Only like, I think it was like a quarter of the people in the South actually owned slaves. But I think a lot of the rich plantation owners were able to successfully sell the idea that like, oh shoot, like this is about you too. Like, you don't want a society where you're on the bottom rung. But with a slave class, there's at least a rung below you as long as you're white. And I think that happened as well with the Nazis. It was like, hey, it doesn't matter how bad things are because there's always a rung below you. And that's one of the reasons why I really admire the Polish people, because in history, the Poles were one of the few people that actually defended their Jews and the Jews in the ghettos and actually tried to fight back against when the SS would try to take them to the concentration camps. Because in the Poles' mind, it was like, yeah, you're Jewish, but you're also Polish, and you're Polish first. So I'm going to fight for my fellow Poles. And that's really something I think we're kind of losing in society today, is I think more and more we're not seen as like, yeah, I may disagree with you, but ultimately, like, you're American, and I would take a bullet for you. I think society has become so polarized and so fragmented that we don't have as much in common anymore, where I think people can more easily divide us. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier about my cousin, who's like a full-on communist. And I don't really care because she's my cousin, and other people who disagree with me on things economically or politically or policy-wise, and I'm like, I don't care, you're my neighbor. And if it came down to it, I would defend you over a politician that ostensibly shares more of my beliefs on paper, but I don't know that person, and I will never know that person. That person will never know me. I think that's why the idea of like love your neighbor, which is a very simple concept that exists in a lot of different religions and cultures, but that's a really simple idea, but it's a very powerful idea. And if actually put into practice and actually lived out, is an antidote to a lot of evils of society. Nestalogic says, I'm doing okay for now, but curious question, Snowman. Do you have anything planned for Valentine's Day in the next week? I do not. And the reason being is because my fiance has got like a packed month. Like this whole month for work is just insane for her. So she's not going to be able to like come up for air until like March. So I told her, hey, no worries. We'll do a bunch of fun stuff in March. Like, don't worry about me. And so she was really thankful for that. So we're not really going to be doing anything until March. Anyone else got Valentine's Day plans? Crow Pathfinder says, it's basic tribalism. You are right. Vid of Light says, I would agree with you on the human nature leaning mostly evil, but I believe that the image and likeness of God still grants a goodness, sacredness, and free will, and humans become wild cards. That's probably the closest to my philosophy as far as the nuance of humanity. Like I said, I do believe that humanity tends to lean more towards its evil nature, but I do believe we have free will, and we have the capacity for good. It's just something we have to work on. I think that's the difference. It's like, at our base nature, what do we default to? We default towards selfishness. We default towards evilness. That doesn't mean we can't be good, but it does mean that that's the nature we have to fight against, because that's what we default to unless we, work on actually practicing being good and practicing good habits. And, it's like anything, it's like if you want to become healthy and fit, you have to actually put the work in to, exercise, eat healthy, and make good habits. I think it's very similar with morality. You have to actually practice apologizing to people, practice being a good person, practice hearing people out, practice being reasonable. That's not something that comes to us naturally. It's something we have to work at day in, day out. I think Tolkien said it very well when he said, evil seems to think that grand gestures are necessary to keep evil at bay, but I think it's the everyday acts of regular people, goodness and kindness, that keeps the darkness at bay. I think that's a closer approximation of what is required to really change a society. Not that grand changes at the top wouldn't help. I'm not saying that, but I think without regular people making an effort to be good in their everyday lives, any changes at the top will eventually melt away as soon as the leader changes, or the party changes, or circumstances changes. Okay, let me move up. Luke Danger says, Aussie seems to really want you to have a disruptor at home. I suggest Titans instead to minimize friendly fire. Friendly sound wave. Luke Danger, singles awareness day plans? Nope, other than the chocolate sales the day after. I just assumed, Luke Danger, you had a significant other. Styles RJ, yeah, I'm way too awkward and lazy to go out and meet other people and buy gifts on certain days. Well, I mean, I got lucky. My fiance basically found me and adopted me and was like she basically, the way she tells it, she's like, I decided very early on you were the kind of person that I could see myself spend the rest of my life with. And then very early on in our dating, she was like, yeah, I'm going to marry this guy. It took me a while to figure that out on my end, but I kind of lucked out in that she kind of took the lead in that regard and really just sort of was like, this is now my person. You are now mine. Just be cool with it. I'm like, okay, I could do that.
Unit ready. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Moving out. Yes,
You
sir.
guys over here.
Awaiting orders. On my way.
And
Sir.
no,
Yes,
I
sir.
want
Yes, sir.
you
Unit ready.
over here.
Sir.
4, 3, 2. Nope, that should be 2.
Unit reporting.
And then you guys are all going to be part of 1. Whoa, look at that.
Orders received.
Look at that field of fire. All right, we're getting ready to invade, guys. What do we have here? That's logic. That's okay. Just don't forget that you won't forget the International Women's Day on March 8th. Otherwise, we will have problems. Azura says, democracy is caring for people. Not naturally. I think that has to be integrated. Again, I don't mean to, like, disagree with people. I'm just telling you my opinion. I am, like, again, I'm not the arbiter of truth. Vidid of Light says, my birthday is actually Valentine's. Oh, interesting. Good old Saint Valentine. Alright, let's get you over here. And I want more Titans.
Building.
Alright, you ready? Let's invade. Okay. Crow Pathfinder, have you checked out any of the Arknight's work? It's a universe that is very inspired by CNC and General Tiberium stand-in a bit. I've heard a little bit about that. I'm going to have to look that up. What's the awe in reference to shot combo?
Unit ready.
Read Luke Danger's message and you ignored my advice. I'm trying not to read every single comment. You're the one that told me to do that, Aussie. I offered you friendship and you spat in my face. I hear the word invasion and instinctively beeline to Poland. No! Sorry, no! They've had enough problems. Leave the Polish alone.
Unit ready.
Well, hold on. Did you say she adopted you? Metaphorically. I mean, like, in the sense that, like, I was perfectly fine to just be friends with her. Mostly because she said that, like, hey, I'm not really in a place to date right now. And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, you're really cool, and I just like being your friend. And then she was the one that kind of decided, oh, actually, I really like this guy.
Unit ready.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Destroy
Okay.
cyborg production.
Oh, Starcombo says, for your significant other meeting story, very lovely. Yeah, I think so, too. She's great. Nope, don't even think about Rabo's flight.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's get you disruptors in here. I want disruptors on the ground in 5.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Luke Danger says, wait, you mean that being a friend is a foundational part of a successful romantic relationship? Gee, who would have guessed? Thank you! Thank you! I'm working with kids later today, and one of the topics we're teaching on is actually about relationships. And one of the key things I'm talking about that is like, hey, do not despise friendships. That's the whole foundation of a successful relationship, any successful relationship. I feel like friendship is not valued enough in our culture. It's like, that is absolutely categorical, you know? Like, if you're going to date someone, maybe see if you can sit in the same room with them for an hour and actually stand being around them, you know? Just wild concept. Gosh, there's a lot of... Oh my god, why is there so much artillery?
Unit lost.
You got it. Awaiting orders.
Holy crikey, there's a lot of artillery.
Unit ready.
Oh my gosh, there's so much artillery. Why is there so many?
You got it.
Unit lost.
Holy crikey. Okay, we need to make some more disruptors. This is insane. This is insane.
Awaiting orders. Sir.
Get amongst them. Get amongst them. You have to be among us.
You got
Kill him.
Unit lost.
On my way.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're gonna have to build all of our forces back up again, but at least we got rid of the dang artillery. Holy crikey. Ah!
Destroy the cyborg production plant.
Okay. Okay. Zaptasia says, is Mrs. Snowman going to offer her voice talent for the documentary? I'm going to ask her,
Yes, sir.
actually. So, hopefully she will.
Waiting orders.
Unit ready.
So, you might hear her voice at some point in the documentary if all goes well. Owen Lars says, we praise Poland, play CNC, and discuss sociocultural, economic, and historical issues. Yeah, that's basically to sum up everything about this channel. In this house, we support GDI, we love Poland, and friendships are good.
Unit lost.
Let me save. That was a lot. Okay, I think Aussie said something important back here.
Unit ready.
Yeah, don't despise being single. There's no such thing as a wasted season of your life. I mean, obviously, if you don't care about getting married or having a couple, like, don't let it phase you. Who cares? But if you do want to have, love someday, don't worry about it. There's no such thing as a wasted season of your life. Everything is preparation. And everything is good. Let's see. Okay, so Ozzy says, I'll gift a membership if you do the boardroom Oscorp scene when Norman Gillette says the Spider-Man 2.
Unit
Gosh dang it. Okay, let's see if I can do that while we're waiting for everything.
Unit ready. Yes, sir.
So in short, profits have never, our stock has never, no, he said, in short, costs are down,
On my way.
and our stock has never been higher. That's good, Norman. This is why we've decided to sell the company. What? We've decided to go into a different direction.
On my way. Moving out.
I can't remember the name of the company that bought them out, but it was like Supertech or whatever has made us an offer we can't refuse.
On my way.
Unit
No,
ready.
Moving out.
You can't do this to me. I started this company.
Unit reporting.
Do you know how much I sacrificed?
On my way. Orders received. Sir.
Norman, the deal only goes through if you're not in it.
Unit reporting.
You're out,
Yes,
Norman.
sir. Sir.
Out am I.
Unit reporting. Unit ready.
So that was my best. I know it wasn't perfect. I
Yes,
missed
sir.
a lot of lines, but that was it. You gonna give the memberships now? Okay.
Destroy the cyborg production plant.
Sir.
Azura, why would he sue when he can just throw skeleton bombs at people? Well, there it is.
Unit
See, this is the part I missed the first time I played this game. I missed all the power plants down here. Let's build more Titans.
building.
All right,
Waiting orders.
let's get you guys down here.
On my way.
Woohoo! Oh, I got a membership to the gaming. Oh, I thought you were gonna give it to one of my guys. Okay, yeah, gaming membership
Cloaked unit detected.
to your channel. Nice, thank you. Sean the Octopus received a gift membership. Nice. Zaptages. They should hire Willem Dafoe as a nod guy if they do another Tid game.
Cloaked
That would be
unit detected.
fantastic. Gosh, these Titans are so freaking cool. Just look at them stomping around with their massive cannons. Just... Oh. Why did anybody think that a Predator tank was cooler? Because that's legit. If you look at the interviews of guys who are making CNC3, they said, yeah, we decided to switch back to tanks because we just like the Tiberian Dawn era better. We just like, we just think tanks are cooler, tank spam. And I'm just like, how do you not think this is cooler?
Detected.
It's a walking tank.
Ready.
I know it's impractical. I don't care. It's a walking tank. How does that not tickle the 9-year-old part of your brain?
Sir.
Oh,
On my way.
sorry. I love Titans.
Unit detected.
This game is half the reason I became an engineer.
Unit reporting.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. On my way.
How do they get a hold of our Firestorm technology? That seems to be a theme they never explain. Cabal always seems to get a hold of our... Maybe because when he was hooked up to our systems, he stole some of our tech. That would actually make a lot of sense.
Yes, sir. Unit ready.
You guys start exploring. I want to see what's going on up here.
On my way.
Cloaked unit detected.
Ugh. No wonder GA was so effective. Their entire infantry was composed of sergeants.
Orders received.
Mech factor.
Cloaked unit detected.
Luke Danger says, civilians. So they took me to this chamber and surrounded me with jury-rigged Firestorm defense sections.
You got it.
I feel like a modified mobile repair vehicle is supposed to disincorporate me into a cyborg.
Cloaked
Yeah.
unit detected.
No problem.
Destroy the cyborg.
Definitive Light. In fairness, they gave a good reason for switching away from the walkers' practicalities paramount in war. Glad we got to see the walkers and the Juggernaut Steel Town stuff. Yeah, no, I love Keen's Wrath for that very reason.
You got it.
Even if I think the Tiberian Sun Titans do look cooler.
You got it.
Azura says, Titans rule, I agree. Nice on being an engineer. Indeed.
Cloaked unit detected.
Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Cabal having both GDI and Nod units would have been neat.
On the way.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool.
No problem.
Blue Danger. Honestly, Predator tanks aren't bad in my opinion. It's just that the justification for the switch was done very poorly by EA and focused on very nebulous ideas rather than GDI's shift to priority.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the reasoning was decent enough. I just
Yes, sir. On my way.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just a Tiberian Sun fanboy. What can I say? Not everything I think is logical. A lot of it is emotional. Styles RJ says if I don't use both, yes. And a membership was given out.
Yes, sir.
Where's the Comp Stomp event? Yeah, sorry, I've been waiting a long time for that. Just in real life concerns has made life very stressful. And the fact that I've been able to make so much progress on the documentary at all, in the midst of everything, like, some things were going to fall through the cracks. Thankfully, the documentary has not fallen through the cracks, but the Comp Stomp has. I apologize for that. We'll get to that when we get there.
Silence needed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the treads for the Predator are kind of weird, and there's no, like, real sloped armor in the front, so there's not a lot of protection there. It looks cool, but, like, it's not very practical.
Yes, sir.
Do I like Gundam? I tried to get into Gundam a couple of times. It's very intimidating because I didn't really know where to start.
Yes, sir.
Like, I went on Crunchyroll and there's just like a million Gundam animes, and I know there's like I tried watching a video on it, and there's like different universes and different timelines and different things like that. So like, if you could recommend a good Gundam anime to like start, that would be fantastic. Zaptagus, another tiny retcon is how they fleshed out the task list to the point that it kind of makes no sense. In what regard,
Destroy the
Zaptagus?
cyborg
Curious what you
production
mean.
plant. Building.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
Luke Danger, funnily enough, the Predator tank treads line up a lot with the Renegade light tank in the TS not artillery design. Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that. Could you please elaborate?
Unit ready.
To Zaptagus. Yeah, Zaptagus, please elaborate. Michael Gold says, remember, 99% of GDI commanders remilitarized before King is actually dead. For real this time. Crow Pathfinder. Yeah, I mean, their civilian vehicles are basically also reskins of other vehicles. Guard towers are basically staying for the GA once for Tiberian Dawn. Vitative Light says, I recommend the first original Mobile Suit Gundam. Okay, so it's called Mobile Suit Gundam. It's rather dated, but goes on over most of the themes you'll find in an Earth versus Space, Mobile Suits Change Society, etc. Gotcha. 79 Gundam, the Universal Century. It's a really good starting point. Alright, I'll try and check that out. My fiance is super into anime, so this is one of the... Good grief, why are you still alive? You know what? We're going to have to work here. You're going to kill these things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's... So I'm probably going to be watching even more anime than I already do for the rest of my life. Which, you know, that is not a bad fate to spend the rest of my life watching anime with my beautiful wife.
Unit ready.
Okay. Vivid Light and the Horror Cost of War. Styles Art. I tried watching Gundam when it came out in Toonami. Never could catch it on time, though. Yeah, fair enough. Trevor Lane, I've seen worse tank designs than the Predator. The Guardian tank and the RE3, the Tsunami tanks are awful. I like the Tsunami tank, but that's also because like it's in a universe where you can make stupid designs and they kind of fit.
Unit ready.
But I mostly like the Tsunami tank for its function. Does it look super cool? Not really. It looks very goofy.
Orders received. You got it.
Oh, looks like they're out of power. Yay!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On my way. You got it.
Destroy the cyborg production plant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Azura says, yeah, 79 is the Mobile Suit Gundam, and the universe is called Universal Century. All right, I'll check it out if I get the chance. Astrology. It still feels weird that Stomp wasn't included in the Tiberian Sun, as it fits perfectly with the Walker units, like Titans and Wolverines, at least included in Renegade soundtrack.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh, here we go. This is the fun soundtrack. Michael says, Tsunami tanks, in my opinion, look pretty good, while the Guardian tanks are just kind of there. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Building.
Moving out. Unit reporting. Awaiting orders. You got it. Sir? Yes, sir? No problem.
Okay, Luke Danger. Good thing you slagged the dam like it was CNC Generals, otherwise they'd still be active. Oh, good point. For Pathfinder. Honestly, the original Gundam shows is one I could never recommend it, and I love it. But that love mostly comes from modern work set and it kind of fleshed out the world and are far more mature. I don't mind stuff that's old. I grew up watching stuff like The Legend of Prince Valiant on FAM TV in the 90s and reruns in the 2000s, so like kind of older animation stuff really doesn't bother me if it's a cool world and a cool story. Alright, let's keep moving.
Awaiting orders.
Okay. Hear Me Out, a GDI Civil War. I would love that. That was one of my favorite parts of the game that shall not be named. It was the first time GDI, as opposed to NOD, was finally like having infighting. I wish we could have executed that concept better. Ah! Stop it! Stop! Ah! Sorry. My other... Aussie's asking for a Bane impression. Scouting is one of those tracks that sounds like the commander having it on radio.
Orders received.
All triple tread designs are abomination to armored vehicle design, and the Scorpion tank of Tiberian War is by far the worst tank design for an MBT in the CNC series, without a center turret. And yeah, no, Trevor Lane, I 100% agree with you. I do not like the Scorpion tank design. I think it just doesn't make any sense. I feel like it's all style over substance, and it doesn't. It just like it kind of looks cool in a vacuum, but the minute you think about it for more than 5 seconds, it's like, why are we here?
On my way.
Pro Panther, it's not the age of the work for me. I love the old anime. It's just that one specifically did not age well, in my opinion.
Moving out.
Unit
Why do you think it didn't age well? Have you tried mods like Dawn of the Tiberian Age or Twisted Insurrection? I have. I have not finished them yet. Whoop. Blame Brother Marcion for the Tiberian War Scorpion tank. I will and I do.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir.
Gotham is yours. None shall interfere here. Do as you please.
Yes, sir. Orders received. Moving out.
Who is the only man to have ever beaten me in freestyle? Only me. That's right.
Orders received.
Only you. Is there anything over here? Is this just stealth, or is there actually something over here?
Unit reporting. Unit reporting.
Alright, come back over here and check this out.
Unit reporting.
You need to come over here.
Sir.
What did I miss? There's some units left at the town that we saw when we first started. Oh, really? Oh, okay. These guys. These goobers.
Building. Building.
Unit orders received. Orders received. Awaiting order. Unit reporting.
Construction complete. New construction.
Finally, an Orca bomber.
Building.
Sir.
Unit ready.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
I don't mind the Scorpion, but then again, I don't mind Battletech logic of, what did that say? Ammo for arm and gun, and the torso feeds the whole arm. Yeah, I guess.
Destroy the cyborg.
Australian
production
Bane
line.
rap song. Oh, the Arlnauts Bane rap song, yes. It's really sad that they stopped their channel.
Yes, sir.
Zora says, as someone who would probably be in Marcion's department, I swear I do not give a zealots the key to the military. Just look at Father Elijah. Virtual Fact says, searching for the last enemy is the best part of every Tiberian Sun mission. Isn't it, though? Isn't it just wonderful? Doesn't it just fill you with joy and peace and happiness and just make you not want to strangle somebody? CNC4 had a lot of cool designs. I really like the different MCVs and wish the 4-link design was a cool tip song for G.
Unit ready.
Yeah, no, I probably will get heresy for saying this, but there are a lot of designs from the game that shall not be named that I actually do really enjoy.
Waiting. Yes, sir. You got it.
Not all of them. Some of them are very stupid.
Unit ready.
Luke Danger says, it's okay, Snowman, this isn't the 40k fandom. Fair enough. Alright.
Waiting loud and clear. Loud and clear. Sir. Unit reporting. Pilot report. Warm up. Sir, received. Reporting.
Okay, nothing else is cloaked. I guess this is the last of it.
Ready.
Oh, look at this guy!
Sir. Warm up.
What are you doing here? Going full Rafiki on the cliff. Well, glad we took care of that.
Unit reporting. You got it. No problem. On my way. Moving out. Yes, sir. No problem. No problem.
Destroy all Cabal forces.
On my way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Am I missing something?
Unit ready.
Do I have to destroy the Firestorm defense matrix? Is there stuff in here I missed?
Waiting orders. Moving out.
Might be stuff up here I missed.
Waiting orders. On my way. No problem. On my way. On my way. On my way. You got it. Yes, sir.
Gotham City, prepare yourselves
Moving out.
for the lyrical flow of Bane. I'm Bane, yes, that's my name. You say it too much, it becomes inane.
Sir.
If you ask why I wear the mask, I'll explain. It's because I'm Bane, yes, that's my name.
No problem. Sir.
If you say it too much, then it becomes inane.
Waiting orders. Yes, sir.
If you ask why my plan lacks gain, if you say it to my face, I'll crash your plane. Who likes hip-hop? I heard Gotham City was alright. I say no, you say survival. Survivors. No. No. I say no, you say survivors. You suck, Bane! Who said that? Stop the music. Kill them all. Look up Arl Knott's Bane rap. It will be the best 2 minutes of your life you'll ever spend. Okay. We probably only have time to start this final mission, but we're making good progress. I'm going to mute myself, and then we're going to go to the cutscene.
Nod confirms that Cabal's harvesting facilities are destroyed. The implanted virus has had significant impact on all cyborg production stations. Secondary teams are currently at work dismantling them.
Right. It's showtime, Commander.
Your main objective is the destruction of Cabal's core.
We have to outflank Cabal. A Nod commando squad will draw fire for GDI on this attack, Commander. Timing is everything. Get in there and smash the core. We don't have any other option.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Here we go.
3 control stations in this sector regulating Cabal's defenses. Capture these stations and retrieve the codes to disable his defenses.
You got it. Core of the problem. Alright, I might end it early because, like I said, I want to get to the Costco food court before I have to go do my thing later today. So I might stop here, but I want to take this time to actually give you guys an update on the documentary project, as well as answer any problems that we might have. Yes, this is the last mission of the campaign, so I think I'm going to stop here, but I need to give you guys an update. Is the music too loud? I can always switch to the comment membership thing first, if that would be easier. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to give you some updates on the documentary. So essentially, the script is almost completely finished. Like, as far as like the narrator stuff for like what I'm saying, that was completed like a month ago. That's all done. I have gotten. Okay, let me switch to the campaign. There we go. Okay. Is that better? Is that better? Okay, so here's how it's gonna work. So my part of the script is completely completed. I have gotten all of the written, or almost all of the written submissions from everybody, and I've placed them where they need to go within the script, so they're all in the right places. I am only waiting on a couple of written submissions from some people that I have asked to finish up. Once those are in, script is almost complete. The last thing I have to do is all the voice acted parts. Some of you who have gotten voice parts may have seen things like political analyst number 1, military analyst, or media person, economic analyst. All of those are basically the talking heads that, you know, like if you ever seen a History Channel documentary, there'll be those people from universities or different places or former generals who will be talking about something from the Civil War and giving their input. All that talking head stuff, all that expert dialogue is stuff I am right now in the process of adding. They're relatively short, and it's been really fun and a blast to do that. I think the most fun I've had is doing the economic expert, because he's basically based off of Ryan Gosling's character from The Big Short, and basically making him sound like an a-hole who's arrogant and talks down to everybody while talking about the economic impact of Tiberium is super fun to write. So yeah, that's being done. Once that's complete, and that is like a week away, I will be sending out the script portions to all the voice actors so that they can say their lines. This is a huge project, so it will be done in stages. I'm not going to send everyone the entirety of their lines, because I also don't want everybody to record like hours of footage and then only for me to be like, actually, I didn't like that take. Can you redo it this way? So it's going to be done in 3 stages. The first stage is going to be all the dialogue and stuff from the first year of the conflict, then the second year, and then the third year. So it'll be done in batches, and I'm going to edit probably everything in batches as well. So I'm going to be sending out all the script in about a week, to all the voice actors, and that's going to be just the dialogue for year 1 of the conflict. And then I would highly, highly recommend do not record the entirety of the script. Just record a few lines from each character that you've been assigned to. Send that to me, and I'll give you feedback on like, oh, I like the way you did this, or can you do it a little bit different, or can you talk a little slower? And once we've nailed your voice for each character, because a lot of you are playing multiple characters, then I would say after you've nailed down the voice to my satisfaction, record the rest of the lines. I think if we do it that way, it'll be perfect. We have some questions here. Runewish says, were you a theater kid at HEC? I was not. I probably would have been a theater kid if I had had the opportunity. I just never did it. I know a lot of theater kids. In fact, 2 of the female voice actors who were in here were theater kids. So that just kind of worked out. I tend to be friends with theater kids. Then we have, what do we have here? Any other questions? Oh, Zaptages. How long do you assume the documentary will be? Will it be split into parts? That's a really good question, Zaptages. Initially, when I was just going off the length of the documentary based off of my narrator parts, I thought, oh, it'll be about 2 hours. Once I added all of the written submissions, and now that I'm adding like the talking heads dialogue, there is no way this is being limited to 2 hours. So yes, I think this is not going to be a 2-hour documentary. I think this is going to be a possibly 3-part mini-series documentary when it's all said and done. And I will be editing a lot of it down, but even when I've edited it down, there's a lot of stuff I don't want to remove that's really good and that flows really well. I think it needs to be a mini-series, so that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah. So this is going to be really beefy. This is going to be really beefy. Like, this is going to be, like, I'm really glad you all contributed, whether it be writing, voice acting. There are a few people who just gave their expertise that were just like, oh, this is what I thought about Nod's doctrines from a Muslim perspective, from a Jewish or, a Christian perspective. Or, hey, I was in the military before. Here's how I think GDI would, put together their armies and their soldiers. I didn't... Oh yeah, Trevor Lane just mentioned it. Was the data you got in RL logistics of use? Yes, I will not necessarily be including all of that like explicitly, but even the expertise you gave helped shape the stuff that I wrote and how I put things together and what parts I edited. Like, it was all very helpful. And this project is going to be a monster. And right now, I'll confess, the thing that I'm most nervous about right now is my work. Not necessarily the written stuff or any of that stuff. I think it's all pretty solid, even if I do say so myself. It's more the visual aspect of the editing, because you've seen my previous documentaries. It's pretty bare bones as far as the visual component. I'm mostly just using cutscenes from the game, and anything I do that's me is like stuff that Rogue made or stuff I slapped together in Pinnacle Studios. I'm trying to up my game as far as stuff like Photoshop, and I'm learning Blender and other things to try and really make my work worthy of the submissions you've given us. Because without exception, all of the written submissions you guys have given, or almost all of it, like certainly all of the written submissions that are going to be included in the final project, are all fantastic and have all made me blown away by just how much passion there still is for CNC and how much you guys all still think about this on a really deep level and are able to like cogently articulate your thoughts about different parts of this universe, especially the First Tiberium War, which is a largely forgotten part of the Tiberian fandom, I think. So you guys have been incredible, and it makes me want to work harder and up my skills and learn things so that I can make this actually look polished and professional. Because, I mean, Little Lore Jumper put it well, like, Mr. Snowman, how is it to be at the head of the fandom revival? I can relate. Yeah, I don't view myself as the head of a fandom revival, but there is a part of me as I'm working on this that makes me think this could be really huge. Maybe it'll just get forgotten and the algorithm won't like it and only you guys will see it, which even then I think it'll be totally worth it. But I'm thinking if I can make this to the polish and professionalism that I'm aiming for right now to be worthy of all of your submissions, this could be something really special. And this could be something really good for the entire CNC community. See ya, Benjamin Delapine. Glad to have you here. So I'm excited, and I really want to make this the best I possibly can be. Whether it ends up being big or not, that's not in my control. But I think this could be really cool, and I'm really happy that you guys all got to be a part of it, even in small ways, because you're all going to be a part of something that I think you're all going to be able to be really proud of. Again, I don't know if it'll be big, but at the very least, I can promise you, you will all be able to be proud of your contributions here. You guys have all done amazing work here. Privateer Man's, am I late for the Q&A? We're just doing the Q&A now. We just finished playing, and we're in the Q&A before I leave. So you got here at the perfect time, Privateer Man. Thanks for all of your contributions. Your stuff has been fantastic, you and your friends. It's great seeing the Nod side of things and the Nod soldiers who didn't join for religious reasons. It's fantastic. Azura, you're very welcome. I really like the part where the scouts come across the obelisk of light. I'm looking forward to having that voiced. And then we have Rune Wish. That sounds super cool. I'm just afraid that y'all put so much effort into this and it gets like 2,000 views. In my experience, the scene audience is a bit unpredictable. I wish you all the best. Even if that happens, again, I think we can all be proud of ourselves. It's good work. I'm hoping it gets a lot more for your guys' sake, because I want the rest of the CNC community to see just how great all of your work is. But even if it's just 2,000 views, I will be proud of everything that we've done. Let's see. Runewish says, in that case, remember that the ones who will see it will be really like it, because it's CNC always worth it. Vivid Flight says, glad to hear that we up your game and honored to be a part of ourselves. All the best. Here's your great fan documentary worthy of the legacy of the series community. Absolutely. Commander is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely 2 hours after he intends to, Privateer Man. This astrologist says, the other problem that might be in the way possibly is obviously copyright set by YouTube itself. So far, I have never had a problem with copyright with YouTube. I have been able to use full soundtracks from the games and have never gotten copyright struck. CNC seems to be copyright proof, at least so far. So, fingers crossed. Yes, you're welcome, Privateer Man. Luke Danger says, happy to help. A little sad that I didn't have as much for the actual war than the aftermath stuff I sent you, but I'm glad you enjoyed it still. Absolutely. Privateer Man says, still trying to figure out the names you asked for without accidentally naming someone I know in real life or some political figure. Yeah, the amount of times I've had to come up with names for all your guys' characters, and then I just type it into Google to be like, is that somebody well-known who was like an awful, awful person, before I nail that down? Shot Combo says, person gives Oscar-winning performance of dying to Tiberium to the background of a Blender donut. Let's see. Pete of Darkness, glad you have fun, Snowman. Great community, absolutely, Azura. Yeah, Trevor Lane, thank you for all your help. All right, see you, Styles RJ. Glad you're here. Good to have you. Privateer Man, I'm honestly surprised how lenient EA is regarding CNC's music. Yeah, no, they've completely forgotten this franchise, and that works to our benefit. To quote the Count of Monte Cristo, and so neglect becomes our ally. Okay, I think that is everything. So that's the status of the documentary right now. So all you voice actors out there, I hope to have scripts out to you in a week. Look forward to that. I think that's good. Anyone have any other final questions before we go? I'm probably going to get off in like 2 minutes. So any other questions you have, speak now, forever hold your peace until the next stream. Little Lord Jumper says, I'm wondering how the Renegade parts are going to look. Me too. I'm mostly focusing on the final Cairo battle for Renegade because it just didn't flow as well. And the kidnapping of the Mobius doctors and Project Regenesis. I'm not focusing on every single mission from the first half of the campaign. Let's see. Oh yeah, also any of you voice actors, if you know foreign languages, let me know what foreign languages you speak. I love having you guys record parts in your other languages as well, because GDI and Nod both recruited from all over the world, so it works. Okay. Oh, we got a question from Privateer Man. Question, will you be doing more of these documentaries for other parts of the franchise, like a General's documentary or an RA1, RA2 documentary? Yeah, obviously that is way down the line. So, because this is an absolute beast to work on. So I would be curious to do, like, you saw the poll I did a few days ago. The ones I'm looking at is Tiberian Sun, Generals, and Red Alert 1. I think of all of those, the ones that interest me the most is obviously Tiberian Sun, because I want to keep this going. But Red Alert 1 would be a lot of fun, because that would be very World War II-esque. And I think that could be really cool. There's a lot of cool connections to the Tiberium universe. And you know me, I'm always looking for an excuse to finally put generals on this channel. It's just most people don't care for that. So, but I would love to do that. Michael says, yeah, I've got no questions. It takes some time to get my lines done. It should be fine. No worries. Yeah. So, Zaptage is Swedish here, as you know. Yep, absolutely. I want to see if I can get some lines for you in Swedish at some point. I will let you know when I get to that point. Little Lore Jumper. This is my first stream. Love you guys. I'll be back even if it kills me. Absolutely. Pete of Darkness covering mods. That will be way later. I still have a lot of lore from the canon stuff, but eventually I'll probably get to some mods. Vivid of Light. I would be delighted to see more documentaries and happy to contribute more forward, but one thing at a time. Absolutely. I hope that I can do more documentaries in the future. I would love to do that. And I would hope if this first documentary is super successful, we get even more eyes and more contributors for the next one. We already got a lot. We got so many. I think there was about 45 people who signed the Google document. About half of them ended up actually submitting stuff by the deadline. And I tried to use as much of that as possible. Astrology says, no worries, Snowman. Surely take your time. Yeah, General Shockwave is fun. Okay, I think that's everything. Thank you guys for being here. I got to go. But thank you so much for making this one of the bright spots in my life. Thank you for basically watching my videos and allowing me to make a little bit of money so I can pay for gas from time to time. That's nice. And thank you so much for everything. You guys have all contributed in small and large ways. And I can't wait for all of that to pay off when we finally release the documentary, which again is probably going to be a 3-part series. So look forward to that. This is going to be an absolute beast. All right. Until then, good luck, Commanders. We'll see you on the battlefield. Bye.
Battle control offline.